welcome to tonight's rendition of the O.C.C. Scrims. I am, as always, on every Thursday, the Loud T-Rex, joined here tonight by Hammer, and somewhere in the corner is going to be Sips T. Hammer, how you doing tonight, buddy?
I am doing fantastic. Excited for a another gold game. I think it is on this fine Thursday evening.
Yeah, and I mean, this is always one of the things, I always feel like, and correct me if I'm wrong, but gold is one of the more populated ranks in the entirety of Overwatch. I think I saw something around the lines of like 32% of the player base is gold. So I always feel like, at least within the rankings, this is kind of like, the halfway point, really, before you start taking off or you start finding yourself, tripping backwards.
I would definitely agree with that. I think gold and even to an extent platinum are certain ranks where players really start to find what they want to play moving forward. Right?
Mm-hmm.
You can't be that one trick DPS main because it looks cool. People start to find the roles that they feel comfortable on, and even if they're not the most flashy roles, I mean, you could see platinum players climb very high just by going through that learning process in gold and platinum.
Very, very, very true. So, tonight the episode is going to be Pro versus Void. Project PROTEUS coming up with a 1-1 record as of late. Meanwhile, Void did end up winning. I think they also have the 1-1, so I think they're both tying for, or they're fighting for first place at this point.
Yeah, I think it's going to be an incredibly close matchup, and I think it's going to be really interesting to see what these two teams do. Going into this meta change that we're seeing.
Right, the drastic changes of the 2-2-2 composition. Apparently, the curtain buffs to Zarya and Reinhardt are really making that the Oink and Yoink relatively obsolete.
Yeah, definitely. When I play in my ranked games, Orisa Hog is still a very good composition on certain maps, but it's not. We don't have that 2-2-2 goats necessarily anymore because of the diversity of compositions we're seeing now. You can see that Orisa Zarya, or Rein Zarya rather. You can see that Orisa Hog. You can see Orisa Diva. You can see dive tanks. There's a lot of versatility happening right now, and that's really exciting to see.
Well, let's see what it is they're gonna run once Sips T gives us the okay and gets everything rolling right down this road. And there we go. Ooh, snap! And Horizon Lunar Colony is going to be our first map of the night.
I think this is going to be a very close map, but I think on this map in particular, it's going to be a lot of the DPS making the plays here. There is a lot of room for hit scan play. You can play a lot of characters like Genji and such on this map as well. So I think it's going to be up to the DPS players for both teams to really step up and make the plays that they need to take the map for their team.
Yeah, that much is very, very true. Neithel asking if they're would they be in first place if the Queen's Guard is 2-0? I think as of right now, we're going to base it off of number one, just primarily because Queen's Guard hasn't lost a match yet. From what I've been seeing, when I took a look at the standings, Pro's record was 1-1, and Void's was, I think it was 0-1, but they won last week. I do remember them winning last week. Then winning last week against Earthwind and Pharah? Or no, I'm
No,
sorry.
Arthur and Farah 4-0'd them.
You're right. You're absolutely right. There we go. Sorry, I had it backwards. I was like, sorry. It's season one pains, man. I'm just so used to saying Void and one. I was like, oh my god, they kicked me butt cheeks. So here we go. As now Void is actually going to try to come in and get this victory. Now it is going to be slightly different. We do have Quaking Punch filling in, filling in for Chibi Kitty now as one of the main healers. So let's see how this goes. As MLP Triox, as they've requested, is going to be playing on this Moira. So here they go from the high ground, getting ready to start this go, and here it comes. It looks like just Chi-Chi on the hunt for a pick. Anti-nade does work, and there is a 1-1 trade-off right now, but Kagura is just doing some solid work right now, and Damon has to make these plays with Wolfpack. Wolfpack does manage to take out Dire Raven, and it's looking great here for the side of Propra, at least for their initial defense. That Sombra from Amano Yuki is gonna have to get the heck out of there.
Was some great plays there by Quaking Punch, staying on that high ground, providing the healing his team needed. Even though they were down 2 players, hitting that huge anti-nade and keeping constant healings into the rest of his teammates will allow them to end up winning that.
Yeah, I always feel like that's relatively important from an Ana. You don't want to just pop all your cooldowns immediately. You do want to make sure you get, you know, proper value out of it. So here we go. Next battle is underway, and Amano Yuki is still far and above up top, managing to get a pick off screen. And that's going to be the end there. And now Big Chungus goes ahead and nabs one. Dire Raven goes out for another one. Even though Quaking Punch is off onto the flags, it's not going to be enough. That's going to be Void doing quite a bit, even with that massive nade. I think it got all 6 of them.
Definitely. I think that was a great play there by Amano Yuki. I think getting the hack onto MLP Triox so he couldn't fade away. And in that scenario, the DPS coming from a Sombra versus a Moira is very one-sided. And that was a great play as well by Tribalize, speeding his team solidly through left side, not getting picked off early. Great plays there by Void.
Oh, and here it comes. Big Chungus Among Us running in. Hammer down comes out, but Sniv goes for a big block. Goes ahead and blocks both. And Big Chungus at a disadvantage right now. Oh, but Chi-Chi just not enough support to back him up. Here it comes. And there's Wolfpack trying to finish us off. Oh, and that's gonna be a big one there by the DPS combo of Damon and Wolfpack, but I think they may have overcommitted a little bit too many ults.
I would agree. That was an important fight for ProPro to win to prevent the snowball. However, using 4 ultimates there when it really seemed like they only needed that Nanoblade could end up biting them here as Void's coming into this next fight with, looks like 4 ultimates. Incredibly high impact ultimates at that.
Gonna answer a quick question here. Yeah, you are going to be seeing frame drops. I've been sitting, racking my brain at it for weeks trying to figure out what the heck is going on. Still can't seem to figure it out, so. But you gotta have someone stream it. So, here we go. Oh yeah, make sure you go ahead and apply if you'd like to be part of the stream team. So, here we go. Once again, the battle's going, and ProPro doing some solid work. Tribalize is gonna have to play a quick game of GTFO. Oh, and the DPS combo. Managing to take out at least Amano Yuki, but Wolfpack, I don't know, it took him a little bit to take out that Sombra.
That was a odd fight there by Void. Going in there, not using it, neither side using any ultimates. So that was an attempt at a dry push there by Void. Great job there by ProPro, holding those ultimates, knowing that they are still at a disadvantage. So every ultimate they can get at this point is a necessity.
Here it goes. Big Chungus looking to come on in, grab himself some real estate, but there he goes, losing that one. The ultimate is available. Here it comes. Kagura might be the hero of the team. He's looking to pop that bad boy, but doesn't know when. That's going to be a huge one, managing to take out MLP Triox. And now Kagura's still working down Sniv, trying to find a proper angle. Oh, there it goes, and that's just going to be bad news bears. Quaking Punch gonna be the only one left. Does get taken out. Now Chi-Chi looking to rush on in. Oh, the hammer down comes out. That is quite powerful, and that does give them a map completion. I think once they finish Damon. Yeah, there it is.
That was a great push there by Void, pushing on that far left side, forcing ProPro to drop off that high ground, which is incredibly strong on the defense. So them doing that, allowing them to grab a few people, and taking advantage of the fact that I think it was the Immortality Field was used a bit early by the side of ProPro. So great fight there from Void.
Yeah, you gotta watch out for it. Like I was saying before, you know, especially when you are playing, you know, those high utility characters, you have to be thinking. I always think you have to be thinking like a few steps ahead. You know what I mean? Like if you're playing an Ana, you have to think to yourself, okay, when was the last time I saw X ultimate? You know what I mean? Because like if you're waiting for a Reinhardt ultimate, you know you're sitting by a corner, or maybe you're looking to go ahead and put him to sleep, where some of them go straight for a charge, you know, or you could just land a massive anti-nade and able to stop, you know, all that push. Like, you ever see Genji just run completely the opposite way when they get anti-naded? Some of them just go shit, and they just don't know where to go. And I love it. I love it so much.
Definitely. And a lot of supports have such strong utility in this game that it's very important to use their cooldowns and ultimates in the optimal situation because they're so valuable in winning games of Overwatch.
Yeah, but I always feel like it's being able to get the most out of your buck. You know what I mean? Like a 6-man anti-nade, I think is fantastic. But if you manage to get, you know, 3 and 3, which is, you know, 3 allies and three enemies, you have given your team a massive advantage.
Definitely. It's like you said, it all comes down to situation, whether or not your team is low and needs that anti-nade, or you're trying to come up with some combo to use the anti-nade on the other team. It really all just comes down to circumstance.
All right, here it goes. And they're trying to figure out what angle to take. And Wolfpack is going to be playing on his signature Genji. The Oink and Yoink, though, is still going to be rather present here. They're going for a little bit more of a bunker composition, but it looks like it's going to be a swift repositioning here by Void. And now they're just looking to rush on in. Chi-Chi's got to be careful not to take the bait, but that Mei might be more than they can handle if they can't figure out a way to get in there. And with the quickness, Damon getting taken out, and Sniv just unable to do much of anything. Amano Yuki coming in to pick up yet another one, and Wolfpack just... That's the thing, man. It's hard to take on a Mei. You got to get rid of her quickly.
Definitely. Running a composition like the Run Zarya into the Mei is very difficult.
Ooh,
I mean,
that's not good.
getting cut off from your supports from as Run Zarya is just devastating. You don't have that fortify as Risa. The self-heal is a Roadhog.
Yeah.
So you're so much more vulnerable as a Run Zarya getting walled off.
I always feel like when it comes to playing against like this kind of composition, you absolutely have to get rid of that Mei, man, if you can help it. Because Mei is going to cause your DPS hell.
Exactly, and if you look at the ult charge right now, Kagura already charged a Blizzard, which is incredibly strong against the composition that Pro want to run. No defensive ultimates at all, which is interesting to see the double main support coming out here rather than something like a Lucio, which speed is so effective for a composition like Run Zarya.
Oh, and there comes the Dragons. That's going to be an ult spent. Great anti-nade comes on in, and oh, here they go. They're popping it. That's a big one right there. And Kagura is going to be one of the last men still available. They let the res come out from Helix the Cat, and they got to disperse. They can't stay into this fight. MOP Triox in some trouble. So is Sniv, and Kagura seems to have saved the day.
It's like I was saying, Blizzard is such a high-impact ultimate when you have nothing to do about it. You saw Pro got 3 or 4 kills at the start of that fight. But then Helix the Cat popped the Valkyrie, got a res off, and then Kagura was able to pop Blizzard and kill 2 or 3 people, which ended the fight for Pro very quickly.
Yeah, man. So here they go. And Amano Yuki having a lot of that backup, which is great. You know what I mean? The communication between Amano Yuki and Kagura is just absolutely fantastic. I think Chi-Chi's holding on to that shield just a little bit too big, man. Or a little bit too much.
Yeah, not having that Lucio forces the Rhine shield to go down so quickly because there's no speed.
Ooh, but mother of pearl, there it goes. There's the 1-2 combo. Oh my god, Damon. Press Q and Q and W, bro. Just go for it. Fantastic as Pro with a combo of ults, Hammer Down and Death Blossom, managing to get the first point.
That was a great play there by Chi-Chi and Damon, using those ults as a combo that you don't typically see. Chi-Chi taking advantage of the shield cooldown on Orisa, and then Damon knowing that once all the tanks were down, that was his time to Death Blossom.
Oh man, but managed to time it just right, and there's no hook, nothing that could stop him. So here we go. And the change has gone over to Pharah. Amano Yuki looking to try and get a little bit into that high ground. And Wolfpack does have ultimate available. Might be looking to find a good angle to get this fight started. Did manage to bait out that ult, and that might be absolutely ginormous if they could finish out this fight. And Wolfpack feeling the blood as they push forward. They do take out the tanks, and now they've got to hurry up and rush on into the point. Amano Yuki still has control of the skies, does get taken out by Wolfpack, and the Mei from Kagura is coming out, managing to take one. Here it goes, pop that ultimate, and they've got to do something about it. There it comes, Wolfpack looking for a pick. That's a 1. Is that going to be a 2? Oh my god, manages to land yet another one. Now they're just working their way on and Tribalize, trying to switch over to the Brigitte, but unable to do much of anything. Here it comes, the Wrecking Ball as the last bastion of hope, jumping in to try to stay alive, and now it's just rush in mode. Don't manage to do anything. Propo actually does not have a very bad time bank for this one.
Not at all. I think it's those late swaps from Pro there that ended up, or from Void rather, that ended up hurting them. They swapped over to that Ryan Zarya, even though Void still had their grab available, which is, or Pro still had their grab available rather. I get confused.
Yeah, words. That's all I got to say.
I
Words.
know. English.
But no, it was a great push, and it's as you said. The moment the tanks were separated from their supports, it became a very, very quick way to the downfall of Void, and that was huge. Those of you watching at home were watching Wolfpack's camera when he was just kind of just charging on in and going and going and going and going. And once you kind of get that momentum, it really is up to your team to like really push with those shields and really get in there. But you have to be able to calculate those sometimes.
Definitely, and I think running that Reaper and Hanzo is so much damage that it's hard for Big Chungus and Dire Raven, who just swapped over to that Ryan and Zarya, to really deal with that. Even though they had the Mei, Chi-Chi got a very good charge onto Kagura, nullifying her Mei wall and her slowing ability. So just great plays overall by Pro.
Yeah, and that's a message to anybody who thinks, they're not important on a team. Don't die, man. If you can be smart about it, try to stay alive. That's important. All right. So here it comes, and they're going for that same composition again. They do have Kagura there on the Mei, and that's going to be important. There go for the pull. Not really sure if they're going to be able to get much of anything, but Chi-Chi really has to be cognizant of that shield, and he's being a little bit better about it. Actually able to hang on to it for just a little bit longer. Damon trying to get in that back line to start causing some issues. Ooh, but Dire Raven does manage to land that pick. Hook almost comes in. Great anti-native. They could capitalize upon it. They got to stop that Mercy. Chi-Chi does manage to land the pick, but man, just that Mei in that back line is just absolutely horrendous. Damon, though, still able to stay in there. Sniv does get taken out. Now it's a 2-2 fight. Can Damon make it? Damon has to do it. Manages to take out Kagura. Here it is. Tribalized, trying to hold on for his very dear life. They've got to get in there. But the team's arriving. They'll get there eventually, and it's not looking good here for Project Proteus. As the rest of the enforcements come on in, Damon manages to take one out. There goes Wolfpack, and Dire Raven tries to come on in. This could be a very, very bad idea for the side of Void. I think they should have just given this one up, man.
That is true. Giving that ult charge to the other team is incredibly detrimental in a push like this. Ryan Zarya is such a snowball potential, and especially after they built up the Nano Blossom here, it could be absolutely devastating.
Oh man, and that's extremely important. You have to know when to give up the point. And if they've got 3 and you are a single Roadhog, I would recommend it. So here we go. Dragons coming out from Amano Yugi, looking to split up the entirety of the team. Manages to land Sniv. Oh, that's not good. Chi-Chi going way, way out of the area to try to make this work, and that's not good. That's going to be 2 picks here for the side of Void. They are going to finish this. Oh, that's not good, man. They probably should have. They probably should have waited off at that point.
Definitely. I think so far this match, I think it's been a little bit of a trend that Chi-Chi has been very aggressive on his main tank play, especially on that Reinhardt. So if Void wants to take advantage of that, it's going to be a lot on the team in general just to make that call out and make sure they know when to back up and understand that once Chi-Chi charges in, they should all collapse on him and get that free kill in the main tank.
Oh, there it is. And Helix the Cat is the first casualty. Oh, there it goes. They drop that ultimate, and Chi-Chi just left clicks W his way, trying to win. But will it be enough? Oh my god, they do manage to get a few picks. What is that ultimate comes out from Kagura. Here it goes. Hammer down. Great job there as they manage to stop it. However, Helix the Cat getting the res, and that's going to be absolutely huge. Wolfpack getting completely collapsed on, and now Sniv is going to be the last bastion of hope, gets completely demolished. But that was good play, though. Very, very good play. I feel like Project Proteus was very, very close to actually getting that. I feel like they missed it somewhere.
I think their big mistake was pushing into that small room with the Mei. Mei does incredibly well in close quarter situations, and with the Reaper not being there as well, and with only a Hanzo, it's very difficult for the Hanzo to get off a definitive headshot onto that Mei. Allowing her, I think Kagura used the Blizzard there and got a few kills out of that. And it's just absolutely horrible to be in that situation where you're in a small room with the Blizzard and a Mei.
You're in a small room with Satan. Oh my god.
Pretty much.
It's terrifying because especially ever since she got that buff where it's like she doesn't just heal or not heal, but she freezes single target. Now she's just in this small room, left clicking away, and everyone's just dying. Oh, it's terrifying, man.
Exactly, and with Big Chungus in there with this giant hammer just swinging it around, I mean, it's pretty much a death sentence.
I will say though, I've been enjoying watching the May play. Especially since the 222 came out. Just I feel like we never really see much May gameplay, and I don't know. Like I said, I feel like it's refreshing.
I definitely agree. I don't think there's ever been a meta that specifically involved May. I think in every other character, there's been some sort of composition where May was like the must pick character. But now with the 222 Roadblock, as you said, um, May is becoming much more popular.
I mean, she hits pretty well. She hits like a ton of breaks if you can do it right. Alrighty, so here they go, and Amano Yuki is going to be looking to get into that back line. Well, trying to figure out an angle on how to get to that back line. They do have Wolfpack running the Bastion, does manage to take out Helix the Cat, and that's going to be a big one. So here they go, and now the turret is just absolutely ready to start shrekking some kids, boys, and that's exactly what it's going to do. Managing to get a few, but dang, Kagura just doing some crazy work, manages to squish a 1. But is that going to be enough as Kagura gets another pick here? Good lord, Kagura is just absolutely fantastic right now.
That was a great play there by Void, all pushing onto the point. And even though you're that Bastion, I mean, you only do single target damage. And with the character like Reaper, who can when in that scenario get so up close with the tanks and kill them so fast, I mean, it's absolutely incredible the way that Kagura was able to use that Reaper versatility and come through with the kills there. Great job.
Yeah, like you said, it's down to the DPS, so here they go, and that's going to be 2 good fire strikes. Oh, Zarya's, they're trying to make some solid work. Hammer down comes in. Great job, though. Able to keep people alive, but Kagura is just on a death mission, and it doesn't seem like there's anything Pro can do about it. As Athena calls the team kill, that's going to be a win for Void.
That was a great play there by Void, engaging aggressively, not allowing the Bastion a chance, I don't think, to really do what they wanted with it. And then, who was it? Helix the Cat coming with that insane immortality field while they were all over there in the corner. Absolutely, I think that might have saved the fight there for Void because the Reinhardt was super low. I'm pretty sure Kagura was very low as well. So great plays there by the entirety of Void.
Yep. I mean, and that's the thing. Particularly when you are forced in that 2-2-2 composition. I mean, you got to be extremely, extremely careful with how you handle a lot of these little sub-components. Really understand that what your win condition is, who's coming, who's got an ultimate, what is their biggest, threat indicator. And I think Void just did a really, really good job at kind of picking that up, realize that there is a Bastion, let's find another way in it. And then just kind of force, I wish I could show the replay here, force Pro off of that perk. Oh, it looks like we do have a sub. Thank you, Kazume, for the sub. We do appreciate that. But now, going back into it, though, yeah, they force Pro off of the high ground, and now that you force the Bastion onto the point, he's fair game. You know what I mean? Especially if you've got a Reaper that is just absolutely hungry for that big pick.
I would 100% agree. I mean, Reaper with his change just a little bit ago, taking 50% lifesteal off of every bit of damage done. It's really, really good in a composition like this. Running with that Mei, even without a Mei, running it with the Hanzo, I think they were running it with so much damage. The mid, close, and long range. It covers all 3 bases of where you want to play as a DPS. So having that Reaper up close, providing distracting the supports while the Hanzo can shoot from the far. A great place there by Void. I think it was Kagura and Amano Yuki.
Yep. Alrighty, so we're just waiting on Sips T to get the go-ahead, and we can go ahead and get started with the next map, which is going to be the Lijiang Tower. One of my absolute favorites, let me tell you.
I would have to agree. Lijiang Tower is one of my favorite maps as well. Not only because I think it's a beautiful looking map, but also because of the versatility it provides in the compositions you can run. You can run the dive composition on Gardens. You can run a more bunker composition on something like Night Market or Control Center,
Hmm.
or you can run the Ranzaria on Control Center. It's a very versatile map that I think allows a lot of teams to exploit what they're good at in a meta that's so changing and so diverse.
Well, yeah. I mean, especially with that, Ryan Zarya, depending on the map, you might want to have a Pharah, a Far Mercy in the skies, really just dishing out a lot of damage. Maybe you want to have that Reaper running right behind him. I mean, I think it just depends on the kind of style that the team is willing to commit to. You know what I mean? The the question is, do they want to bulldoze? Do they want to find flanks? I mean, it's going to require that a lot from the DPS. It's going to require even more so from the supports to find their way around that.
I would 100% agree. I would absolutely agree with you that this map allows for teams to really play their own play style. It's not like the GOATS meta where every team had to play the same thing and was kind of synonymous every time, every fight. But and on a map like Lijiang Tower, you could see so much. I think we will see a lot of versatility in the DPS played and whatever. So I think it's going to be really interesting to see how these teams perform based on the Lijiang Tower, or not the Horizon Lunar Colony performance we just saw.
Ooh, and here we go. I'm seeing a Brigitte here from Tribalize, but they are pulling the Ryan Zarya on both sides, and they both have a Mei. The main difference is going to be the secondary DPS. And what is it? Yeah, it's seen Tribalize on that Brigitte. Have you played her recently? She feels really weird.
She is definitely different. I think she is much more of a support character now. However, her healing, when used properly, can be very effective. Now, it's interesting to see here the Ranzaria usage rather than the dive tanks right here, because dive tanks are very popular on this map of Gardens. So,
And here they go, and the battle is going to be underway, and that's going to be a quick pause. Whoa. Not really sure what happened there. It's like battle started and then pause. I'm gonna say, I don't know. Did you notice anybody lagging before we got started?
no, apparently it's because Sniv is having some mouse problems right now, so they want to. I think they're pausing to fix that up.
Yikes! I mean, especially as a Zarya, you need to track. You need to. Oh, great. I mean, I think I enjoy it though, because what is it? She's one of the highest DPS output tanks in the game. Well, depending on how much charge you have, or she is the highest DPS output.
Yeah, at a 100% charge. I mean, with her new buff, or not bugs, of bug fix, as you can call, as the developers like to call it. As soon as her beam touches the enemy character, it does that damage, and before that wasn't how it worked. There was a little bit of lag time in the damage done with Zarya's beam, so she does incredibly high DPS now.
Oh, here we go. That's going to be a big one there, and they do manage to get a few picks. They do have a Mei in there. Not really sure what happened. We were seeing it through the eyes of Chi-Chi, and it just seemed to turn out really weird. There's Tribalize trying to hold on for just a little bit, but the survivability is just not there like it used to be.
Yeah, that was a very odd fight with the pause that caused a lot of, I think, chaos. And whichever team was really able to maximize on that chaos first, I think ended up in the outcome, ended up on top. And I think in that scenario, it was Void.
Alrighty, here they go. Chi-Chi trying to get control of the bridge, and that's going to be relatively important to see what's just going to happen here. Tribalize has got to be careful. Oh, and Wolfpack just in that front line. Good anti-nade coming in from Quake and Punch, and Sniv managing to take out Tribalize. That's just going to be a tough one there. And now they're rolling on in. Chi-Chi's ready. Didn't get baited on that one. That's going to be fantastic work. And now it's just going to be Pro pushing their way in. Oh, man. I'd be screaming to the high heavens if I saw that Maywall. Heck no. Oh, you are crazy.
However, that was a great counter Maywall by Kagura, blocking off the enemy team and forcing them to consider whether or not they wanted to push in or not. And then when they did, Kagura and Helix the Cat were already out. So that was a great play there by Kagura.
Oh, and the 40% mark does come into play here for Project Proteus. Chi-Chi's got to be careful. They do pop that ultimate. Is that's going to be enough, though, as they just work their way in there, trying to finish something off. Oh, the hammer down comes in, and that's going to be huge. But I feel like they may have overcommitted some ults here.
Definitely, I think Pro Actually, they used 3 ultimates there, and I would agree. After Sniv got that huge grab on the side and pulled 3 people off the map, I'm not sure if it was really necessary to end up having to use that Earth Shatter, which is such a high impact ultimate. So we'll see how that plays out in this next fight.
Alrighty, so here they go, and there's Big Chungus trying to get in there, and that might not be good. Wolfpack does land the pick, and that's going to be huge here. Chi-Chi does have a lot of backup, and not your average dad. Switching over to the Tracer to try to go ahead and stall at 90%. Now we're pushing forward. Not your average dad might have to be careful. There's no one available to touch the point, but they've got to do it. There it comes, Tribalize rushing on in, managing to force the overtime, and here we go, starting into the final fight. They've got to make this work. Oh, here it comes, May popping their ultimate, but ends up just not where it needed to be. Very, very unfortunate. There it comes, Damon looking to finish this bad boy off. They do pop this ultimate, and Damon just coming in, picking up the last few kills. It's going to be huge. Oh my God, they're just throwing everything they got at it.
Definitely, I think Kagura had the right idea, having to throw that blizzard in to potentially get whoever they could, but because of the uncertainty of where it was gonna go and not knowing where the enemy team was, it ended up being a complete dud and not hitting anyone.
And that's just rough, man. You hate to see it.
You do hate to see it.
Oh, and that's something you hate to see just a little bit more, at least in my eyes, man. There we go, going in for another pause. But great job there by Project Proteus, able to really, really make do with what they had. I just couldn't tell, like where that ultimate went. I think he just threw. What'd you say he happened? I think he just threw it too high, right?
Kagura was coming back from spawn and used a Maywall to come back across that little gap there, so they ended up throwing it through the window, which I think was in theory could have been a huge play, but unlucky. It was unlucky that it was unable to hit anyone.
Oh, yeah. It ended up on the far side. That's where I was looking. I was like, whoa, where is this Mayhelt coming from? Okay, so you saw something I did, and I was like, where is this happening? But Damon ended up getting the last little bit and ended up securing that map victory there. So that's going to be relatively important. And Kazume asked why all the pauses. Well, we have all these pauses because, well, things happen. Somebody disconnects. I don't know. Somebody disconnects. Maybe their mouse is broken. Maybe this happens, that happens, the whole shebang. It's a thing. Oh, there it is. Okay. I'm just increasing the size or the volume way. Just saying app. Sorry. All right. So, what do you think they're gonna run here?
I think here running that May Reaper, as we saw from Pro in the last round, it's extremely effective on a map like Control Center. Just close quarters, allowing for Reaper to take on flanks, and then Damon to get those huge walls and such that we saw, I think, on the last map. I think could be very beneficial to the way Pro played on Gardens. However, with the composition, it looks like Void wants to run. Seems like it's also a very brawly comp. And I think their supports are better tailored for the brawly type of comp with that Moira Lucio.
Alrighty, so here they go, and they're being really quiet. They're being really cautious. There they go. I think they've caught wind of where they're going to want to get started. And now the volleys are going to start coming underway. Chi-Chi is going to get separated, and they are going to try to push on that. That's going to be a big one there. Oh, but that anti-nade comes in. Cleanse comes out clutch, and there comes Chi-Chi managing to get the pick here on Kagura. And that's going to be absolutely detrimental here for the side of Void. That's going to be Chungus getting CC'd. Oh, man, out of everything he's got. But still, just under the Undying, not willing to go. The healing, great job there from the healers. But we did lose Quaking Punch over here from Not Your Average Dad. And that's just going to be rough. Sniv just unable to help get in there. And that's going to be the end. Holy crap. I thought for sure with that first pick on the May, that was going to be it.
Yeah, definitely. But it's like I said at the start, the Moira Lucio was so much more tailored to this type of composition. And even though they lose the May, the healing is still there, keeping Big Chungus 1 up alive through several freezes. But that's a huge kill on the quick.
Oh, the Chi-Chi just, oh man, that's just rough. I think Pro's just a little bit out of sorts right now. I think they're just charging in a little bit at a time, and that's just not looking good here for the rest of the team.
Yeah, and Void only having to use that coalescence there, but as we saw, Helix the Cat built it up so quickly. With the counter comp like the May Reaper, so much damage comes through that you can heal it so quick. Excuse me, so quickly.
Oh, and there it goes. Oh, they're going to pop that ultimate. Tribalize pops it at the last possible second. Looking the team alive. Oh, but that's just going to be 2 picks that are going to be coming. Oh, there comes that ultimate from Not Your Average Dad. Great job from MLB Triox. Able to keep the team alive at least through 2 ultimates. Hammer Down does come in, but is it going to be enough? And no, it's not going to be enough, as Chi-Chi is going to get, is at least going to be in some serious trouble against Kogger. Quaking Punch does come up with the kill. So here we go, 72%, but I think Wolfpack is rushing in just a little bit too much.
Yeah, that was a huge play by Kagura. Using that Blizzard after they knew that MLP Triox used the Transcendence a little early. Utilizing the fact that during that Transcendence phase that they would just be freezing and the damage could be done after the Transcendence was gone.
Oh, here it comes. And Wolfpack managing to pick up a few. And it looks like it might be Void. I'm sorry, Pro. Able to get the point at the very end here. That's going to be extremely important.
Definitely. But that was a great fight there from Void as well. Not using any ultimates, understanding that they are at 99%. They can just pool ultimates until the last fight and then win by using either the Blizzard to force out the trans and using Grab. There's a lot of possibilities for Void right now.
Oh, there's a Hammer Down. Quaking Punch looking to try to keep the team alive. Chi-Chi goes into a Super Saiyan Stupor looking to try to finish these people off. And that's just going to be rough. They're all around Chi-Chi. Feeling it. Able to do some solid work. Woo! That was a good reaction to that ultimate. That's rough. Dire Raven actually managing to get quite a few. Or I'm sorry, it was Big Chungus managing to get quite a few. Holy crap. That was very close.
Definitely. However, that wall there from Damon isolated all of that healing and allowed Quaking Punch to throw that nade against the back of the wall, keeping all the healing off of Big Chungus, rendering him essentially useless.
Oh, there it goes, and they're just popping 2 ultimates. They're just like, nope, we're gonna go for straight sweeps here, boys. Jesus, oh my God, great timing. But now it looks like what you said earlier was might be coming in true. They're holding on to their ultimates. They're getting a little bit closer, but I think they might be biding a little bit too much time.
Yeah, and with Chi-Chi, Wolfpack, and MLP Triox having their ultimates on the other side, I think this might be the last fight, and I think it's going to be incredibly close. However, Void has both offensive ultimates, and we're going to see the Blizzard come out here.
Oh, and there it goes. They did pop both DPS. Oh, and they're just going down one by one. Hammer Down comes in. That's huge, but that's not going to be enough as Tribalize switches over, manages to get that ultimate out, and that's what's going to finish it here. Quaking Punch is trying to rush on in, but there's nothing you can do. But great job from Pro managing to bring it back from 0.
Yeah, definitely great plays there from Void. I think I want to highlight, though, Tribalize and Helix the Cat. I think they were the real heroes there of that composition. That insane amount of healing, and the Lucio speed boost I think proved to be incredibly crucial, regardless of the utility that Anna or Moira may have, or Anna or Zenyatta may have. I think the mass healing there and the speed boost definitely made it worthwhile.
Oh my God, you're so right. Because there were times I thought Big Chungus was dead. I swore it. There was a Zen orb on him. He was frozen, had no shield. I was like, he's gonna die. That's it. Next thing I know, he's still kicking. I'm like, what is happening here? That was crazy.
Orb and the bubble possibly, and then the regular Moira healing, and then the Lucio amp. I mean, it's just a ton of healing.
Alrighty, and Damon is going to be the first one that goes down to a floating popsicle. But they've got to be careful not to keep getting stuck in that. But Wolfpack is just going to be feeling it, Mr. Krabs, rushing on in, putting a lot of this forward pressure. Big Chungus does go down as a combo of Wolfpack. And it's going to be Damon managing to finish it off. Good Lord, that was a great clean sweep here by Project Proteus.
Definitely. That initial pick on the Tribalize denies what I was talking about with that Lucio speed. Not allowing them to engage like we saw them do on the last map. On the last point, rather. So, great kill there from Damon. And good job overall from Purple.
Alrighty, so here we go. Another fight is coming on in, and Dire Raven looking to back up teammates, really trying to figure out what angle they're going to come in from. Big Chungus is going to get in onto the point. Oh, man, that's a big one as Chi-Chi gets completely locked out. I thought that was a little bit weird, but now Chi-Chi just swinging away, trying to take out the Mei. And during a May, whoever gets frozen is going to go on first. Not Your Average Dad is doing some solid work to pushing on in. The freeze is going to be absolutely crucial, but it's not going to be enough. Damon is going to be the last remaining member, trying to squeeze just a little bit more in terms of percentage. I think Pro just gets it just shy of 50%.
Yeah, the hero there I think is Kagura, walling off that nano-boosted Reinhardt, which does so much damage. I mean, it's absolutely incredible how much damage a nano-boosted Reinhardt does. Excuse me. So, the amount of pressure that was taken off by that Mei wall from Kagura was incredible. Great job from her.
Oh, and the hammer down comes in. Big Chungus getting a fat shatter. Oh, that's not good. Here's MLP Triox. Does pop that ultimate. And it's just not coming into their favor. That's not good. There goes Void managing to win yet another fight here. Great job there by Big Chungus. Completely faking out Chi-Chi and managing to land that ult. That's fantastic.
Definitely great player there by Big Chungus, getting that huge shatter, not forcing Void to use any more ultimates than they needed to. Great play.
All right, so here they go. And here we go, getting started. Sniv trying to find the right angles, and they've got to be careful with Kagura. Oh, there comes. That ultimate does come on out. Oh, and Not Your Average Dad is looking to finish this bad boy off. Oh, they were going for that heavy initiation, but just unable to do it. And Athena calls for the team kill. Man, Void is starting to find and pick up their momentum.
Great use of both survive Void, and it seems I am corrected. Damon actually ended up walling off his own teammate, based on what the chat says. That's a you hate to see it.
That is a you hate to see it. Fair. All right, here we go. That anti-nade came in just a little bit early. Helix the Cat, though, looking to Kamehameha everyone and anything that ever exists. There it comes. Hammer down. Wolfpack managing to pick up quite a few, and it's just absolute chaos here on the point. Wolfpack getting another one. Man, he is finding his stride here with that Reaper.
Definitely, but I think we're in another situation like we are last time. Void has the Blizzard, such a high impact ultimate. So I think if they play this properly and just push in, knowing that Pro does not have any defensive ultimates, it could be a game-winning ult from Kagura if they play this correctly.
Alrighty, let's see how they do it. Here it comes. Big Chungus just runs on in. Oh, getting so close to managing to get that cheeky pick, and that's just going to be bad. There it comes. That's a 1. Will that be a 2? Chi-Chi able to stay alive just long enough, but does get taken out. Damon trying to hold on for just a little bit longer, and no, unfortunately, this is just not going to be Project Proteus' game. They do lose this point. Man, it's as you called it. Kagura's ult was the win condition right there. Make it work. You got everything you need.
Exactly, and Pro did have the ult advantage in that fight, but the Blizzard just rendered it all useless because of the lack of a defensive ultimate.
Yep, and there it goes. That's going to be the end there. Project Proteus loses this map. Void wins it.
So I think now Void is up 2-0 in the series, and based off the way we have played and the compositions they've run, it's going to be interesting to see the way Pro can potentially come back from this. I think they've been playing very well. Wolfpack, Damon on that Reaper Mei, but I think maybe it's Chi-Chi being a bit over aggressive and being outclassed by Big Chungus. Also, the better support composition I think from Void that's allowing them to come out on top in the series so far.
You are very, very, very right. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have gone and hit to our halftime. Currently, Void is up 2-0. The question is, will Project Proteus be able to use this forced newfound momentum? You know, because I think Chi-Chi and I want to say Quaking Punch are currently filling. So it's it's as we talked about it a week before. When you're playing with a new team or playing with new teammates, it's tough to really kind of get into that groove with people that you're not necessarily used to. So that's just going to be a rough one there. In the meantime, go ahead and grab yourself something to drink, something to eat. Please hang tight. Tell your friends if they want to go ahead and join this. This would be absolutely fantastic. I love commentating for you guys. And you know what? If I can, if you want to hear me say your name, plus doing cool stuff, then yeah, fantastic. And so we'll hammer. So that's what we got. We'll see you guys about half an hour. Not half an hour, 5 minutes. 5 minutes.
Devil in a red dress, call 911, I'm a killer. You know I hate to confess. Bang bang, got my hand on the trigger. The devil in a red dress, call 911, I'm a killer. You know I hate to confess. Bang bang, got my hand, bang got my hand, call.
Hog one. Heals.
Come back.
Nope, well, Teddy's popping.
Yeah, I am.
Alrighty, guys, here we are back again, and we were just kind of having a Brigitte discussion just prior to this. You know, just thinking about just the massive changes that there were for her. I am the Loud T-Rex, joined here by the Hammer, and it's been a relatively entertaining set of matches here. I mean, it's not like, you know, one side is completely blowing down the other. It's definitely, you know, there's a lot of like push and pull, but I feel like ProPro's having their issue finding their stride.
Definitely. I think that might potentially come from the fact that ProPro has 2 fills tonight. But I think that also comes from the fact that Void is having some amazing solo standout performances. Specifically, Kagura and Big Chungus are 2 specifically that I think we highlighted during the break ourselves. That were playing really well. And the entirety of Void is playing very well overall. So is ProPro, but I think it's a lack of synergy that's really hurting them right now.
And that happens, you know what I mean. But I always feel like you know, another thing to do, and I always feel like this is such a small thing to do. Sips, whenever you're ready, you can get it started. Something that I feel like a lot of people don't do is, you know, it's where you're sitting and you know the battle's about to start, and sometimes you're just kind of looking at the big door. You're not looking around to see if you might find something. You know, constantly moving, checking these extra corners, making sure that your weak areas are protected, because you never know. You'll find a Genji, you know, pop up out of nowhere. You'll have that Mei pop up out of nowhere, and it just makes your life hell.
I would definitely agree. I mean, a character like Mei, I mean, you want to make sure she's not in any of those corners, because as you're saying, you and a Mei in a room, that's just unlucky.
It's so bad. It's terrifying, man.
Definitely, when that big room is covered by a blizzard, I mean, you best hope you have something you can use to counter it. Otherwise, it's GG go next.
Alrighty, so we are going to be playing Havana, which is an escort specific map. So, you know, get on that payload, guide it to victory, wherever the hell it is you're guiding it to. And we're going to be seeing, it's going to be ProPro on the defense first. Looks like they're going to try to run that Bastion again.
And I think it's interesting they're running the Bastion without that. Oh, never mind. They are swapping to that Orisa Hog. I was going to say, running that with the Rein Zarya is a bit questionable, because Rein Shield is just, as good as it is, just not as effective as the cooldown Orisa Shield.
Well, it's not just the cooldown, but it's the fact that Orisa can also give outward pressure in the meantime. So it is a static shield, but the static shield is can be consistently moved. That Rein shield, he's got to give it some time to charge. And if you're not killing your targets quickly, it's a long day for you.
Also, with something like a Rein Shield, you're typically out in the open with it, and you can't really back up around a corner when it dies. Unlike the Orisa Shield, which is stationary, so you can plan out exits and escapes after that shield is going to go down.
Ooh, and here they go, and we just see Wolfpack trying to get quite a few hits in order to try to make this work. Oh, that could be bad. Able to keep the team alive and bring out that immortality. That's going to be extremely huge, but Wolfpack has got to be careful not to get taken out, and the battle's still underway. Damon managing to get a pick here on Tribalize. They are going to try to capitalize on having this Bastion. Amano Yuki trying to get into that backline, and it looks like it's going to be Void still just hanging on for just a little bit longer. Big Chungus, though, might be just in a little too deep. I guess maybe just didn't have enough health.
Yeah, I think playing there as the Reinhardt's very difficult, with the rest of your team being dead. You can't really do much. You can't back out because your shield would just get melted. So, however, I do like the pick of the Diva from Void, though. I think it helps taking a lot of that span damage that could be potentially hurting them. I just think it's on Void to utilize that Diva Matrix well and properly, so that Big Chungus can get in there and do the damage he needs.
Ooh, and that's not good. It's another, you hate to see it. And Damon is going to be protected at least for a little while. There it comes. That ultimate comes out. Oh, but just not enough time is done. Not Your Average Dad might be in the worst spot of his life. Does get taken out. And there it goes. Another redo. Amano Yuki still not able to find the damage necessary in order to pull off that big ult.
Yeah, definitely. And I just saw a question in the chat why they're not on the high ground. And I think that's because if the Ryan team gets onto that cart without any pressure, it's going to be very difficult for them to re-engage there, because of the space that has been created by them being on the high ground. If they push to that left room and go to the cart where it is now,
Ooh, and Chi-Chi's,
the utility will be moved.
Chi-Chi's gotta be careful where he puts that shield. Because that shield cannot protect you. And that's just rough. There it is. Big Chungus getting a few. And Damon's going to be looking for some picks. The High Noon comes out by Not Your Average Dad. Doesn't get much of anyone. But it doesn't matter. Chi-Chi just cannot take that much pressure. MLP Triox has to back out. Ooh, just in a bad spot. Doing the dances, trying to get out. Will they make it? And yes, they do. Quaking Punch able to give a little bit of support and love towards the end of that. But Quaking Punch has got to be careful or he's about to be dead. That's going to be a bad day for everybody involved.
Definitely, I think. Oh, but nope, I don't think they're gonna stall this. Maybe.
It looks like they're trying to stall it. I'm not necessarily sure what's going on, but Sniv has got to be careful. When you got that much going against you, it could be dangerous. But now Damon in that front line switching off of the Bastion. So now they've got a little bit more forward pressure. Chi-Chi starting to develop a forward position with Damon at the helm. Damon just shooting into that shield knowing that a Rhine is just going to have a tough day. And unbelievably, Pro manages to hold off.
That was an unbelievable hold there by Damon, actually. Really, I think coming in with that solo play, killing off the members of Pro, or Void rather, that were just, I don't know if they were expecting that Reaper swap so quickly, or the contestant at all. So potentially Damon took advantage of potentially the cockiness, and that's a big pick there by Damon.
Ooh. And as Elfie says, I'll pack you all lunches. There it goes. The ultimates do come out. But Damon manages to get that ultimate. Great job. Able to stop this nonsense. Oh boy, that's crazy.
Definitely. Damon there coming in with the big plays on the Reaper. I honestly saving that point for Pro. Almost single-handedly, if you ask me. The huge flank there on the Reinhardt playing, I guess, in an odd spot here on the bushes near that yellow car.
Yeah, I noticed that.
He was just standing there, and I don't think Big Chungus was ready for that close of a hold by just Damon, really.
I mean, that's the thing. If you can't react to it quick enough, that Rhine can completely mow down a Reinhardt relatively quickly. That Reaper's ridiculous at his damage output.
Especially because I think Damon was damage boosted. So
man, that's just fantastic. Yeah, Damon managing to clean it up. They lost the main tank. And even with Amano Yuki's ult, they just weren't able to really capitalize on that. And that's just that's a rough game there.
Definitely. I think based on what I'm seeing now, it looks like Void is going to be running the attack. Bastion's on both sides, actually.
That's going to be weird.
Pro is going to be running the attack Bastion.
Oh, and it looks like you have a shout out here, Hammer. Also, thank you for the follow and sub, Alex DeShepherd. We do appreciate it. All right.
Aww. Thanks, Alex.
All right. So here we go. Not Your Average Dad is going to be playing on the Ashe, and that's going to be important to see what they pick off with it. They don't have anything set up just yet, but they've got to get something going. Chi-Chi does pop that shield, and they do have that counter Bastion from Amano Yuki. Looking to try to hold off the enemy team. I mean, any barrier that comes in the way of that Bastion, it's going to be a tough day.
Definitely. However, it's very difficult for Wolfpack and them to set up here because of the offensive position they have to take with the Bastion.
Yeah, Wolfpack just can't seem to get ready. Ooh, and there it goes. The Immortality Field does come up, and that's going to be important. They're using the truck as much as they can for their own personal cover. Oh, the ultimate does come out, and Quaking Punch managing to survive, and no picks done just yet, but now Damon is absolutely ready to get off onto the flanks. Here it comes. That's going to be Amano Yuki trying to get in there, land a few picks of his own, does get hooked by Sniv, takes down Sniv. But is that going to be enough? Amano Yuki does get taken out, and it's still just absolute nonsense here on the point. Chi-Chi trying to get some good spots, trying to find good space, good cover, good anything to try to stay alive, and that's going to be the end of Dire Raven here. The ultimate form does come out. Tribalize does pop that Super Saiyan form, trying to hold on for just enough. And oh my god, is that going to be enough? Wolfpack needs to be the hero of the team right now, but gets completely demolished. And that's just not going to be so here for the side of Project Proteus. They were so close to getting this map point, but just could not finish it.
Definitely. That was a very close victory there from Pro. However, a good defensive hold there at the end from Void. And that fight took up 2 minutes off the clock, which, while it might not seem like a lot, because it's only on this first point, they only get 4 minutes to attack. So you have to utilize every minute properly, and especially now, because they don't have that truck as a defensive wall, I guess you could say. It's going to be much harder for this, oh, I guess they swapped off the Bastion, but even then, running that Bastion there makes it incredibly difficult for Pro to get a good engage in.
And I see it, Pro's looking to try to find an alternate angle, how they can get in there, and that sleep comes in huge, but Amano Yuki does get waken up. And here they go, they're trying to get this party started, and Wolfpack almost falls victim to the oink and yoink. And now Bob on the field looking to do some solid work. Wolfpack has got to be careful as now Not Your Average Dad takes out Chi-Chi. Oh, that's going to be another one there. And they're just losing this one. That's just not looking good. Sniv is going to be caught out, able to stay alive, but might get super staggered if he can't find his way out.
Definitely. This is going to be an incredibly close map from what it looks like. Both teams having 4 or 5 ultimates on the table. Right now, though, I think it's Pro does have the ult advantage, but I think going to the next fight, it's going to be 4 versus 4, and it's going to really be on Quaking Punch. Oh, Not Your Average Dad, rather, to build up that Bob, which is just a huge offensive ability.
Ooh, there it goes, and they just popped everything, threw everything at him but the kitchen sink, and they try to bring back Amano Yuki, try to hold on, pop that ultimate. That's just going to be the end there. Tribalize going to be the last bastion of hope, and there goes Wolfpack popping out that ultimate because he can, and that's going to be Project Proteus taking this map.
That was a great player there by Damon. Really great offense there, taking advantage of the Nano Blossom, how much damage it does. However, a good way to counter that would be if Dire Raven had used their Hog ultimate to push that Reaper away. But this is that flank we saw from Damon in the bushes.
Oh man, that was just ridiculous. Ridiculous, man. Holy crap. Good job there by Project Proteus managing to make that work. You know, I mean, I saw the ultimates and I just didn't know who MLP Triox was going to send it to. It was really just, are you going to invest it in the Nano Blade or are you going to invest it in the Nano Blossom? And it looked like the Nano Blossom would just happen to be the right choice. Because the thing, the Nano Blossom doesn't just depend on, because what did I put it? I know they were waiting to use that Immortality field to try to counter an ultimate. But I feel like the use of the Death Blossom was far better.
Definitely, because of that 360 rotation damage coming out from the Death Blossom, it hits that Immortality while doing damage to everybody else. So when that Immortality comes down, they're already very low HP, allowing for the cleanup, depending on if the Death Blossom has time still, or the rest of the team following up. So great plays there by Pro.
Oh, that's just fantastic. And yeah, Abstract was right. The blade wasn't ready. I think I don't remember what I was looking at. I was like, it looked ready. Regardless, it was just great plays. Great plays there. I was really impressed by Project Proteus using the truck for as long as they did. You know, and part of us would say, well, you know, it'd be better to try and secure the fighter, quickly win the fighter, you know, so on and so forth. But I feel like when you have a Bastion v Bastion situation, especially when you're the attacking one, you want to avoid as much as humanly possible to transform in front of your enemy.
Definitely. That time you're taking transforming is DPS we are losing, and DPS they are putting into you, and you are not putting into them. Which is very difficult, but as you said, using that unbreakable wall of the truck to absorb that damage, forcing that constant repositioning of the defending team, made it really difficult for them to come back there. And they almost had it, but that clutch ultimate there from Damon at the end
All right.
made it all worth it.
Well, the victory is in Void's hands. I'm telling you, they could feel it. But if Pro plays the way they did that last map, it could be quicksand in their hands, and that could be terrible. So, Hollywood, we are going to be going into this hybrid map. They do have to capture the point, and then we worry ourselves about a payload. Based on what you see, I mean, what do you think is going to be the win condition here for the side of Void?
I think Void just has to take advantage of the fact that Chi-Chi and MLP Triox are not the most synergized. Was on the Reinhardt. Chi-Chi was very out of position a lot of the time. They like to charge in, which as a Ryan is very dangerous if you don't have the support of your team. So they have to take advantage of those small little things that Chi-Chi and MLP Troy are doing because they're not as synergized with the team. And if they can do that, they'll definitely take it away with the win.
Oh, and there's Damon getting a pick. Oh, Quaking Punch and Damon managing to get a solid pick as Wolfpack looking to be a nuisance from the sky. And that Pharah play might be exactly what they need as Kagra's really only playing... Oh, there it is. There's the change over to the McCree.
Yeah, running that McCree into the Pharah is a really smart decision. It also allows for the close-up damage potentially against the tanks, against the Mei. So it's a good pick overall. However, Ashe also could be proved to be very good against what they're playing. The Dynamite is very effective against bunker-style compositions. But that's Big Chungus going down there to the Mei wall.
Oh, and that's you hate to see it. I think that's the most frustrating thing when you are playing Orion. Excuse me.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, as a Ryan, to see your hopes and dreams crushed by the fact that there's a giant pillar of ice behind you.
Why you gotta say it like that, though?
Because I'm a main tank player. I know the experience more than anyone.
But hopes and dreams, man. Jeez. You hurt my soul.
The big play coming from your team just crushed. Having to wait another 15 seconds to come back from the spawn room for the 90th.
Alrighty, here it goes, and that could be a huge pick. Oh, but that's going to be MLP Triox getting completely melted, and that's just unfortunate, because that is their form of, come back to life. So that could be difficult. And now your average dad looking to try to get some of this higher ground. Chi-Chi might be just a little bit too high up. Here it comes. That Mayall comes in, and that could be absolutely clutch. That is what finishes off quite a few. Wolfpack might have been like Icarus, just a smidge too close to the sun. Gets taken out by his own rocket. But that's just going to be what ends it there as MLP Triox comes back and brings Wolfie.
Definitely. I think even though they got that pick on the Mercy, the main healing source for Pro was still there in Quaking Punch. And then even though the Mercy was down, as I said, Wolfpack was still able to do damage. And then the Baptiste field coming down. And then the Blizzard from Damon as well. And that's a huge pick on the Helix to cap from Wolfpack.
Yeah, you cannot get taken out before the fight even starts. That's rough right there, especially if it's your main healer.
Definitely, and they're coming down to just a minute left, and with just a minute, they're just charging their first EMP. I don't think Void has used a single ultimate this round, so it'd be soul shattering if they got Valkyried and then barraged. But that's an EMP coming out.
Oh, and there they go, popping everything but the kitchen sink. Kagra does get a pick. That's gonna be Wolfpack getting another one. Looking to try to finish it off. That's going to be the end of Tribalize, but Helix the Cat looking to be the hero. Might be able to res him up, but MLP Triox does get taken out. Forgive me for that camera, but they threw everything, man. They just hit the nuke button.
Definitely. I mean, it looks like they're still engaging here, but Void understood the situation they were in and had to use those ultimates regardless of whether they win or lose.
Oh, and there they go. Dire Raven managing to pick up two. And that's just not looking good here. Wolfpack trying to just throw in some damage, but it's not going to be enough. Dire Raven actually managing to clean that one out. So now here we go. As they get 2 minutes and 30 seconds, it did take them a while to get there, though.
Definitely. Only having... I think they were in overtime there, which means they only have 2 minutes and 30 seconds to push through point B, which is a very difficult point to push. Not only on this map, but on hybrid maps in general. Point B is a very difficult point to push through because of all the turns and the weaves and the high ground and the low ground. I mean, this is going to be very difficult for Void to push through.
Oh, here they go. And now they're using that to try to get their way in there. And that's going to be not your average dad trying to get into that back line, trying to hold on, trying to cause some sort of distraction, but it's just not going to be so. As Chi-Chi finding his feet, just looking to rush on in. And Tribalize going to have to back off. That is just a ridiculous skirmish. Oh my god.
Definitely. I think the optimal play there was after they had that beat drop from Tribalize. The whole team should have just pressed W. Taking advantage of their extra HP and the speed boost from the Lucio, now that he can take it off healing Ant for just a minute, could have potentially won them that fight.
Ooh, and there it goes. Damon looking to try to be the hero of this one. How does he stay alive? What? Unreal. There it goes. Kamehameha comes out from MLP Triox, and Wolfie just looking to try to finish off this one. Dire Raven just did not have the backup necessary in order to make this work.
Yeah, Big Chungus hit that big shatter there, and Quaking Punch throws down that immortality field for a bit of stall on the death of his teammates, but Damon throwing that blizzard down, denying a lot of follow-up from the rest of their team because they had the risk of getting frozen if they weren't frozen already. So great plays there from the entirety of Pro.
Oh, not your average dad. Pops that ultimate. There it goes. Kagra managing to pick up 2. Will it be 3? Wolfpack just might be in the worst area. And Kagra is just able to pick up just so many. Wolfpack not able to get out. Oh, man. I think that was just all Kagra at that point.
Definitely that huge EMP from Not Your Average Dad, getting 5 players other than the Genji, but it doesn't matter if the Genji's not hacked or not. It's a Genji. What is he gonna do when the rest of his team is hacked? And then that visor comes down and it's just insane.
Oh, and there goes Wolfpack managing to pick up a few kills there. Lands on another one, and Big Chungus gets taken out as well. Wolfpack, though, with the 22 health, does get taken out by Kagra. Will this be what ends it? Tribalize, though, able to stay alive. And no! Damon just unfortunate, unable to do anything about this. Ooh, and some of them do have a bad spawn. That's going to be bad here for Project Proteus.
That was probably worst case scenario for Pro. They used 4 ultimates on that fight and still ended up losing it. That was an incredibly unfortunate turn of events for Pro, but we have to give props to Void of turning that disadvantage into an advantage and winning that fight, taking it to the 3rd point of Hollywood.
Oh, and there it goes. Damon did switch out. Is going to be playing a little bit more of that Reaper. They're not going to risk it the chance. They need that forward offense, but Damon does get taken out. Even with MLP Triox doing everything humanly possible to try to finish this bad boy off. Oh, there it goes. Are they going to be able to do it? Big Chungus does drop the bongos. And that's going to be a big one. MLP Triox does drop the Kamehameha. Oh my god! And that's going to be huge if they can't do anything about it. Kagra is just absolutely demolishing the enemy team. What is going on here? Oh, Quaking Punch does get taken out. That's going to be Kagra getting out of the way. Damon is still alive, but just barely for just not much longer. And now Wolfpack jumps in onto the point, trying to hold on. They don't want to let the enemy clear this map. And now they're starting to push on in. Chi-Chi just has to get in there, but can't seem to find the right angle. Dire Raven takes out Damon, and here it comes. The ults are out. There goes Tribalized. Dire Raven looking to try to finish this bad boy off as Wolfpack stays in onto the point. There goes Wolfpack. Drops that ultimate. Takes down 1. Is this going to be another one? If they can muster it, that's going to be 2. There it goes. That's going to be a huge ult. Not your average dad. And it looks like they might be able to take it home. They do manage to stop this as Athena calls for the team kill. That's going to be a non-completion from Void.
What an insane round. Both teams popping off. Kagra, a real MVP so far for Void. Pretty much getting those huge plays with those tactical visors, rather. Sorry. Just absolutely huge. Getting 3 or 4 man visors each time. And with an ultimate like visor, it can be very hit or miss.
I see
With how it,
what you did there.
with how it can be used, and I think Kagura utilized it very well in this situation.
No, you're absolutely right, Kagura, waiting until those shields are completely out of the way, or at least, you know, the very, very opportune moment. I'm really enjoying seeing, you know, some Soldier 76 play. It's something that I haven't seen in, geez, God knows forever.
Definitely. However, despite how well Kagura did on Soldier just not the best DPS pick for this meta. And I think we could see there, even though Kagura had huge ults and was providing a little bit of splash damage from the side, I mean, the value that Soldier can get outside of his ultimates is very minimal. But still, taking nothing away from Kagura, great praise from him and the rest of Void. So it's going to be interesting to see here how Void can potentially defend here. It looks like they're going to be running the Torbjorn and the Ashe, which can work well. Possibly distracting against a Sombra, which is very good on this point. What do you think?
I mean, this is a wait and see. I think Kagura's Torb might do a lot of damage, especially if Project Proteus just can't seem to find a way to take care of it. Oh, and there it goes. First one is going to go to Void. They do manage to take out Damon relatively early. And now they have to find some other angle in which they're going to go ahead and take this.
Definitely. However, it's important for Void here not to get distracted over here, because if Damon comes from behind and does a bunch of damage on the Junkrat, it could be devastating.
And there goes Chi-Chi looking to come on in, dish some damage, but now Chi-Chi does get that shield broken. Oh my god! It's just as you said. And that's going to be some big picks here. Oh, but there goes Chi-Chi getting hooked, and Wolfpack jumping on in to try to help out that turret. Unable to help with just anything. And now Chi-Chi on fire, literally managing to get taken out. So now it's going to be a bit of a skirmish here, just trying to finish this one off. But Tribalize is able to finish one off, and now Quaking Punch and Sniv are fighting for their lives, and they might not be able to. That's just going to be the end there. Oh, I saw the ray of hope here for Project Proteus, but they just could not finish the fight.
I think the big highlight player there was Helix the Cat, getting that res off onto Big Chungus, bringing that main tank back alive, which is so important for this composition that Void is deciding to run. And going into the next fight, it looks like Propo is gonna have 4 ultimates, and it looks like Void is gonna have Propo is gonna have 4. Void is gonna have nearly all 6. So it's gonna be interesting to see how this Riptire is used. I think that's the win condition here for Pro if they want to take this map, and here comes the Riptire.
Riptire looking to try to find a proper angle, and they got to figure out where it's coming through. They pop the support ultimate, and he goes ahead and spends it on the turret. That turret better have been super priceless, and here they go. Chi-Chi jumping on in. Molten Core comes on out, and a pick does come out. Great res, though, by Felix the Cat, and it's going to be big old Bob managing to clean this one up. Unbelievable. Hey, man. Having that Bob in your pocket is fantastic.
Exactly. Bob is essentially a 7th player on your team, and as we all know, in Overwatch, having a number advantage in a team fight is crucial. However, going to the next fight, even though Void won out that fight, they seem to be at a disadvantage here, having the tank ults and the Death Blossom come up for Pro here.
And they've got to make...
Void.
Ooh, there they go. That's going to be the 1. That's going to be the 2. And great anti-nade comes out here from Quaking Punch. They're looking to finish this one off. Tribalize trying to hold on, but has to get out of there. And that's going to be Wolfie and Quaking Punch finishing out that fight. And ProPro is still in this map.
Definitely. That was a great play there by Chi-Chi, taking advantage of the stationary shield of Orisa that we were talking about on Havana. They didn't have to use any other ultimates, and they capped it with a minute left, leaving them with about 3 minutes left at this point.
Oh, there it goes. It went for the ultimate, but just Kagura had the answer. I see what they were going. They were trying to go for a cheeky stagger, but it just was not. It was not in the cards. Kagura did not.
That was a very over-aggressive play there from Pro, I think. They knew that because Void got wiped so quickly there, they were all going to have close spawn. But it was a good idea, but it was very risky and just ended up not working out. And that's a big pick on the
Ooh, the Oink and Oink coming in relatively close, and they've got to be careful. Tribalize does drop that ultimate. Now it's time to just start jumping on in. Damon's got to be careful as Tribalize is looking to try to secure yet another pick. And now Damon just has to get out of there. You do not want to stay in that fight.
Definitely. Now going into the next fight, it's going to be the other 3 ultimates for Pro being online. The 2 support ults and the Junkrat ultimate. While on the other side is the Valkyrie, the Bob, and the High Noon. So it's going to be interesting to see how that Riptire is going to be used this time. Damon, unfortunately, was unable to do anything with it last time. Those are 2 huge picks early.
Yeah, that is. I mean, there's Dire Raven popping it out, and Wolfpack might be maybe not the best position of the world. Oh, there it comes, and now that's going to be Void freaking out. Damon coming in with a double. That's going to be huge. Oh, and that ultimate just might have been a little mess spent here by Helix the Cat.
Definitely. However, we are getting very close here, and with Grav and Transcendence online for Pro, it's going to be very close because we are approaching just about last fight territory. 1 minute left on the clock. Still quite a bit of ways to go until the checkpoint, and it's going to be very close here because I have the Bob, but that's a huge pick.
Oh, man. And there it goes. Pro finding their feet. Damon gets another pick here. And now Chi-Chi's got to be careful. Kagura looking to finish this one off. And now with 2 minutes remaining, that's a ridiculous amount of time. MLP Triox managing to finish this one up. And I don't know where Pro is getting this momentum, but man, this is just fantastic.
Definitely. Using that Junkrat in that tight corridor was absolutely insane. The damage, just the healing and just everything else could not handle it. So you have to ask yourself, is it worth it for them to stay on this Mercy, or should they swap to something like the Moira that we saw them to be so effective on a map of Lijiang Cap?
Ooh, and Damon managing to steal a pick here on Kagura. Helix the Cat, though, going in for a huge res. And right now, it's looking great here for the side of Project Proteus, but Chi-Chi does get taken out. The shield is broken, and now they've got to back off. Damon does not want to go toe-to-toe with a Reinhardt. That's just deadly in and of itself. My God. And now Damon is going to have to back off. Kagura, though, still hungry for blood, has to back off, does have that Deadeye. And now we're getting ready for the next fight. Sniv has gone ahead and pushed in for just a little bit. They're gaining a little bit of ground, and there's all 6 ultimates available here for the side of Project Proteus. But they've got to make something big happen here today if they want to go in for the reverse sweep.
Definitely. Here comes the Riptire.
There goes that Riptire. Kagura looking to try to hold on for just a little bit. Doesn't get much of anything. Oh, and that's going to be a double pick here. Oh, it's just going to be Tribalized just a smidgen too light. Hammer it down, comes on out. And there's a good old Bob. And he just takes the brunt of that Death Blossom. Tribalized trying to get in onto the point. They just stop it. Kagura trying to rush on in, get into the point, and watch out. Here he comes. That's going to be Big Chungus, but MLP Triox does have the Nano Boost, and that's going to be Pro bringing it up to a Game 5.
What an insane play by Pro. Damon, again, coming in clutch, getting that big tire. 2K on to Kagura and onto Big Chungus. Absolutely game-saving tire there, to be completely honest with you, because without that, potentially Void could have taken that back. So great plays from them.
Oh man, I mean, 6 ultimates though, 6 ults. That's really hard to maneuver, and I'm loving the way that throughout the course of this series. I don't know if you're noticing this too, but their ult management is getting significantly better as it goes. And I feel like that's really, really important because they're not, sometimes, at least in the beginning, they were throwing out ults a little bit too early, maybe a little bit too late, like a fight is done, 6v1, you're probably going to get taken down unless it's a really, really, really lucky ult. but you know, they've been getting a little bit better, and the way Project Proteus stacked all of their ultimates, I think was fantastic.
Definitely. However, I think part of that comes down to the fact that they steamrolled through second. They built up all their ult charge there on that last little area. On second, Damon utilizing those Junkrat mines, they were able to pick off clean there, and Pro did an incredible job not using those ultimates early, and knowing that they could pull those up till the very, very end when they needed them most.
All right, so those of you at home, it is time for the final map of the night. And it's been a ridiculous back and forth. Void coming out really strong, getting the first 2 victories. Project Proteus coming back in the second half, bringing what could be a reverse sweep, and a reverse sweep feels just oh so good. Just oh so good.
But it'd be the story of the century if Void could shut it down here and now. And we have seen Void be especially good on those control type maps. I think it favors maybe their playstyle a little more with that Moira Lucio. However, I think depending on what this final map is, it could go either way, taking it down to the last point, 1-1, 99-99. That's what I'm hoping for today.
Oh Jesus! You want us to go? You want to kill my voice? Is what you want me to do? That's what it sounds like.
Yes.
It's like, because when they go to those 99-99s, man, it is usually just chaos. Now, usually I find it funny when, like, no one seems to get a pick. It's like, I call it the battle dance, where it's just kind of like shots are going everywhere, a little bit of damage here, a little bit of damage there, and it's just everyone dancing around and, like, this, it always reminds me of, like, a cartoon almost. Like, you ever seen it when they do, like, the bubbles and they're, like, beating each other up? That's what I feel like that is.
Yeah. Just, then the bubble goes away and they're in a position, then it goes again, they're in a different position. One of them's winning, then the other one's winning, then one of them's winning.
Yeah, that's what I see whenever it goes down to that wire. And honestly, you know, I could see that happening here tonight. But like on either side, tell me who needs to be outstanding on, you know, pick one per team. Like, who needs to be their outstanding player?
On Pro, it needs to continue to be Damon.
Okay.
Damon has really stepped up, I feel like, this match. They've been insane on all the roles that he's played. The Mei, the Reaper, the Junkrat. It's just absolutely incredible. And on Void, it's going to be Kagura. Kagura, absolutely insane. On those hit scan rolls that we've seen from them today. The McCree and the Soldier, maybe a little bit of the Ashe earlier. I don't remember exactly, but...
Yeah,
I think it's gonna be on Damon and Kagura to pull their team to the finish line, a little bit first.
man, I'm already seeing a lot of love here for Damon for tonight's MVP. And hey, you know what? Damon is a contender. So don't forget to give us a hashtag for who you want to be your player of the match. Like I said, we've already got ours in our head, but I think honestly, this next map will fully decide who will be my MVP. Yeah.
I will have to agree. And on a map like Nepal, it's kind of similar to Lijiang Tower. There's a lot of versatility that can happen here. The hit scan rolls can be played a lot. The Mei Reaper, Pharah, Junkrat. A lot of things can be played here. So whatever team takes this first map is going to have a really big advantage just in terms of morale. Because on a 5th map, there's nothing worse than losing that first map and knowing that you have to play perfectly from here on out.
I mean, depends on your captain. If you can bring back the troops. I mean, it's exhilarating if you can bring it back.
Definitely, it makes it much more exciting.
All right, so here we go. 5 seconds till we could see it. I don't know, man. I also feel like it's going to really fall on Chi-Chi having to really outplay Big Chungus. That's also a big one because I know Chi-Chi plays predominantly at a silver level. So as of right now, you know, the odds are definitely stacked against Chi-Chi. But that's the thing. If they could prove it, I mean, that means Chi-Chi's definitely getting a lot of experience and really learning a lot, particularly being here. So I got eyes on him. So here we go, and it's going to be the final map of the night. Let's see who can go ahead and win this one. Oh boy.
Looks like mirror compositions in terms of tanks and Reaper. Other than that, it's different with the Pharah Doomfist, then the Moira Lucio, and the Ana Mercy. So it's going to be...
Oh, and that's going to be a big pick initially, but not your average dad managing to land a pick here, and that's going to be absolutely huge. Kagura in that back line looking to finish people off, and that's Kagura just going at it right now. Good Lord, taking out MLP Triox and taking out Quaking Punch. My God, Kagura is feeling it right now.
Definitely. And Wolfpack on that Pharah, you would think it'd be very effective against this composition. However, if the rest of the team goes down, what is the Pharah going to do by himself? I mean, the Orisa can pull her. Pop shots could come out from the Hog and from the Orisa. And that's a big pick onto Damon from Dire Raven.
Ooh, the yoink and oink starting to finally click here for the side of Void. Void wants this W. They are not willing to let this L happen. But now we're seeing the change in at least the way that Pro is playing. They're taking their time a little bit to get everything started, but Kagura getting a pick here on Wolfpack, and that's just rough. They just can't seem to find their footing as Kagura is just kind of really aggressive.
Definitely, and it looks like they're still going to engage here, which is interesting because they're down the Pharah, which is a lot of damage, but these are huge. It's an absolutely great play from Kagura.
Oh my God! Oh, this is just absolutely nutty. Fantastic. Use whatever adjective you want. Kagura is just going to town right now, and Project Proteus just does not seem to have an answer.
Kagura pops that Meteor Strike, lands it down, gets a bunch of damage off onto the rest of the team. Then it's in there. I mean, and a Doomfist close quarters is almost as bad as a May. The one-shot ability of the Rocket Punch. A ton of damage can come out there, but that's a huge answer.
Oh, and there it goes. Kagura does get a pick, and Chi-Chi trying to stay alive. That's going to be Kagura getting taken out, and Chi-Chi's got to be careful. Tribalize does pop that ultimate to try to keep the rest of the team alive. Here it goes. Not your average dad looking to hold on. Oh, but they're just panic ulting at this very second. They're just dropping anything that moves right now. Oh, and there's Sniv managing to get one. Oh, I was about to say, there it goes. Helix the Cat coming back, and Damon looking to hold on. They do manage to do it. And now Damon going against the tank. That's just rough. You do not want to be an Orisa going against the Reaper. You just do not. That's just not a good day for anybody.
Definitely. Questionable out there from Big Chungus with that Bongo. Very high impact ultimate from the Bongo, providing damage boost to every player and within a certain range. And using that ultimate on an essentially lost fight, presumably called out by their teammates there. Very questionable, but 99 to 15% here. This is a great position for Void.
Ooh, and Damon just barely getting out with his life. Kamehameha does come out here from Helix the Cat. Looking to dish in as much damage as humanly possible. Kagura managing to pick up one against MLP Triox. And now here it goes. Sniv does manage to get one. But now they're just fighting for their lives. Kagura looking for some picks. Does get taken out by Quaking Punch. But it's just going to be unfortunate here for the side of Project Proteus as Void manages to get this first point.
So now, you have to go back to what I said earlier. Is Void going to make the upset happen? Not to cast her curse to set anything, okay? However, if Pro does not manage to deal with Kagura's or Doomfist rather, I think it's just a game. It's a game over. Kagura absolutely popped off on the Doomfist, and Doomfist is such a high impact character. I mean, the one-shot abilities, the combos into a kill onto a 200, 250 HP character, and incredible character in terms of getting pick value. I think it's going to be on Damon and Wolfpack though to shut him down, and if so, Pro might walk away with the series, but you never know until it happens.
I know, and that's the love of the spirit of competition. So here we go, and they are going to have the yoink and oink here on both sides. So that's going to be relatively important. And right now, Void just happens to have a better handle on it, and they do manage to get in right onto the point. Kagura is going to be playing the Ashe, throwing in some dynamite in there. Big Chungus does get taken out as Kagura does manage to land a pick here on the side of the flanks. They've got to be careful not to get lost. There goes Wolfpack trying to dish in a little bit of that damage. But now Kagura is just going completely uncontested. No one really stopping him right there. This Tribalize is going to be on that Brigida, stopping that heal from Sniv, and that's just the end there. Oh boy, this is gonna be big, because right now, that's gonna be the starting advantage here for the side of Void.
Definitely. It's going to be very difficult for the McCree from Wolfpack to get any value. They have to focus on either the Reaper, that's up close, or the Ashe, which is far away. Ashe already has an innate ability to do better against the McCree because of that range. And Reaper, if Reaper plays it correctly, can get insane value by using that Wraith form to dodge that stun. So it's odd to see them continue to run the McCree here, but we'll see how it goes as Damon swaps over to the character he's done so well on as Reaper.
Ooh, and the yoink and oink comes on in. There goes Kagura bringing the Big Bob to the back line, and Chi-Chi just does not have any defenses around. That's just going to be rough there. Kagura's Bob managing to get the pick there, and they're just going to have to get out of there. They can't get it. They can't stay in that fight.
Wolfpack is 1 HP. I don't know if it could have been any lower HP there, but that was a great Bob there from Kagura. Minimal ultimate used in that fight, and they end up winning it. And I think right now it's hurting Pro that they haven't played Lucio this entire match. They can't really engage on this setup because of how far away it is. Here, Big Chungus can use the bongo, burn the shield, and we're going to see that coming out right now.
Oh, and here it comes. Not your average dad managing to pick up yet another one. And Kagura just raining damage down. Oh my god. You know, I think one of ProPro's biggest problems right now is that they're not contesting Kagura. There's really no one there. I mean, at this point, you might just have a Genji. Throw him in there.
Exactly. As I said, what is the McCree really going to do? I mean, the McCree and the Reaper, they take so long to get the point with the Rein Zarya without a Lucio. It's an uphill battle right now that I just don't think they're going to win.
Oh, there it goes. Wolfpack drops the high noon, but doesn't seem to get much of anyone. And that's just going to be ProPro unable to hold it. That's just going to be Void with a quick map 5 win. Great job there, Void.
What an incredible play from Void. Kagura, the entirety of Big Chungus, Dire Raven, Kagura, Helix the Cat, Tribalize, Not Your Average Dead, all played huge parts in this team's success today. And I think we're going to get a highlight from Kagura right here on that Doomfist in this room.
Oh man, I sometimes hate it when OBS does this. Oh boy, alrighty, so there we go. That was just an incredible, incredulous match. I'm blown away. I'm blown away. You know, and it sucks to see that ProPro didn't manage to bring it back. You know, they are my old team, so you know, gotta send them a little bit of love here and there. But honestly, Void was just playing their best game.
I would agree. I think Void played extremely well tonight. So did ProPro. I think Void should be very proud of the way they played, and I think ProPro should be as well. Having 2 kills, nothing short of a great accomplishment to take a team like Void to the map 5 with 2 fills. And you know, in a game like Overwatch, synergy is so important that losing 2 members of your core roster is absolutely devastating, and I think we experienced a little bit of that here today.
Yeah. Yep. So, who's your player? You got to give me your player of the match.
Real quick, they said the music's a bit too loud, so I don't think they can hear us.
Yeah, it's fixed. It's a few second delay. So,
well, my player of the match is going to have to be Kagura. I mean, Kagura popped off. If ProPro had won, I probably would have given it to Damon, but Kagura came out big in the end on the Ashe, on the Doomfist, coming in clutch. Absolutely wonderful performance by them. They should be very proud. Kagura should be very proud of the way they played today. Outstanding work.
Yeah, for sure. And you know what? I'm going to have to give it to Kagura as well. Damon was doing some solid plays, and those were wonderful to see. They really were. Especially Pro not having really that synergy with some of the players just because, they've only really filled. They were doing incredibly well, but in all honesty, man, Kagura was just completely killing it. Especially in that last little bit, it was a very, very powerful show. Very, very powerful display of power. He was rocking it on that fist. Good Lord. So, Sipsty, you wanna add who your player of the match is tonight?
Oh, I mean, I think we all know. I mean, Kagura popping off, but so we're not gonna give him all. I would say I've seen all three of Void's scrims so far, and I would say my player of the match is the Void tank line. This is by far the best performance I've seen them have this season so far. Like the Orisa Hog was much better. The Ryan Zarya Fat Shatters, great job.
Alrighty, folks. So there you are. There you heard it. And here we go to the end of our show. I have been the Loud T-Rex, and please make sure, honestly, just go ahead and bring your friends on in. Invite them. Come hang out. I have a tendency to hang out in the channels. I'm really more than happy to play with anyone if you really just approach me, or if I'm on. That being said, it's a great community, a lot of people that you can talk to, and honestly, I always feel like it's far better to be placed into a team. Allows you to speak to people, really kind of get to know people without having to have a preset list prior. So please go ahead and apply down below if you'd like to be a coach. Once again, it's down below as well. One big thing we need people to help us out here with the stream team. If you want to run the camera, as I'm doing right now, you'd like to say or speak in the manner that I do or Litzy does on the other days. Amara, Widowfaker, Dank Monkey, and Amano. We are also part of the stream team. So please, even if you are somewhat interested, go ahead and let Sipsty know that you're interested. See what position we can find you, because really, we'd like to give you guys more and more of these streams, but we're going to need help. So, Sips, you have anything for the audience tonight?
I don't think so. I think you covered it.
Alrighty. So I am Blood T-Rex.
And I have been Hammer.
And we will see you guys next time.